Yes, sir. Back again. Another episode of Forced Conversation. GideonXL here. And I was not alone with my buddy, my partner in crime, pun intended. Brother, please introduce yourself.
Hey, what is going on, Gideon? What's up, everyone? This is Gangster KT. Thrilled to be here as always. This is our fifth one, you said, right?
Fifth one, brother. Fifth
Oh,
one.
that's
I
great,
hope
man.
that's what I said.
Really enjoying it. So thanks again for having me.
No, thank you, man. Thank you. This is working out real well, and we're making a great team, making great strides. This is good stuff. So this is broadcasting on YouTube. So if you're looking, you probably know where Gideon's channel is. But KT, where can they find you?
Yes, sir. Thank you. So you guys can find me. I am just on YouTube. Don't really do anything else besides the stream with Gideon, but you can find me on youtube.com at Gangster KT.
Boom. So there it is.
What's
And
going
Big
on, Adam?
Adam's already in the building. My brother. Outstanding. We appreciate you, man. We appreciate you.
Good to see you.
So yeah, the lines, as they say, are always open. If anybody got any questions, comments, you can put them in. We'll address them. We're going to talk about some good stuff today. Hopefully, we'll be getting some personal feedback. Before we start, I should say, I didn't warn you about this ahead of time, but just something that you made me think about in the episode we did before with Ambassador Al, which was a fantastic episode, by the way. Anybody didn't get a chance to see that yet, go check it out. It's legit. But I have my stash of power cores. And KT, you remember you asked me a question. Do you remember
What would it take for you to blow those?
What would it take? What would it take? And I thought about it. And just after meditating on what you guys were saying and listening to the advice that Al gave, the answer is obvious. The Super Scroll, right? The Super Scroll. So I'm not blasting through my stash, but I am doing some of the things he suggested and reusing it to refresh the stores. Maybe not worry about trying to get extra shards on the newer characters. Those will come. Those will come in time. But if I can use the currency I already have saved up to get my Super Scroll a little bit faster, it's only going to benefit the account. So that's where we're at.
I think that's solid, and kudos for listening to his advice there. I've had similar thoughts, Gideon, like seeing these videos of Super Scroll in action and how it's just completely dominating Crucible, which I know we talked about and predicted, but seeing it in action, it's like, yeah, how can I reprioritize this and start focusing more of my resources to get there faster? He's a game changer, no question.
100% agree. 100% agree. How's your you're in Dark Dimension 6 right now?
Yep. So I'm on the last node of the global right now, and I'm about one piece on each character away from entering Cosmic, so should be close to entering right when I get there. And what's really interesting on this, it seems like relative to old Dark Dimensions, the amount of time to get your character up versus the amount of time to play through the nodes, there's a huge gap there. So it's you mainly finish and then you're just waiting for the next set, so that can impact maybe some of your planning and just trying to get in there more quickly.
Okay good advice, because I'm not there yet. I got first four waiting on one piece, and it'll be Black Cat will be my fifth. Apocalypse, I don't have him ready yet. He takes a lot of stuff, and I underestimated. I put a lot of it on Kamala Khan. And so I got a ways to go to get Apocalypse ready, but I'll still have 5 and be able to start whenever I get this last piece.
Yeah, and Gideon, I think you've been smart with it. So many people say like, hey, you have to have your first 5 global, and maybe they'll make one exception with that, but it looked like you did a lot of your arena team. So kind of like I was talking about, you can get through global and then you're just waiting. So maybe you won't start global as quickly, but your end date could be the same. And oh yeah, you have an amazing arena team between now and all that time. So I thought those have been pretty solid picks for you.
We're hoping it works out. Looking forward to getting in there and making something happen. We'll see.
It's a fun game mode. I'm enjoying playing it. I really wish I could do it more than once a day, but it's got to be long term, so that makes sense. But it's fun.
It is again, I'm not in there, but the strategy aspect of Dark Dimension is always good. Just trying to, if you want to take a little time, like you always say, min max, and maybe I can make that run a little better. That's probably the best I could do. Or maybe I can, if I stun this guy this time instead of the other guy.
Yep.
Just trying different things. It's good. It's a good part of the game. So let us see about getting into our main topics for the day. So we kind of want to talk about our origins, like why it is that we got into content creation here from this mobile video game. Um, so mine, I don't know what you had prepared. Mine's kind of lengthy.
I'm ready to hear it. I'm excited to hear what got you into this. So you have the floor, my friend.
Oh, so I'm going to set a timer on my phone. Um,
I'll get
like I
some
said, this
popcorn
might
here
end
real
up being
quickly.
a saga. We might have to do part one, part two, but we'll see. We'll see what time we got left as we proceed. But okay, so just a little bit about Gideon. Strategy games. Love strategy games. Um, tabletop role playing games, pen and paper role playing games from when I was a kid. Love that stuff. Final Fantasy Tactics, Suikoden, Chrono Trigger. These are games I grew up with that I really enjoyed. Okay. I used to play this game. It's a tabletop game called Hero Clicks. So it's these little figurines, superhero characters on this board. It's kind of like a chess game. Played that with my boys. We were trying. They wanted to go kind of hard. I was down for that. I was trying to get into the competitive side. We went and did tournaments and stuff like that.
Wow.
Kind of fizzled out. Currently play a game called I think it's just called Marvel Champions. Just a card game, and boosters come out every so often. Same thing. It's a strategy game. I played this game called Dice Throne the other day. If anybody's ever heard of that, just started that with some of my guys. So the point I'm trying to make is this style of thing is something that's always interested me. So I played Marvel Future Fight before this. So it's more of an action oriented RPG. Must have some way, shape, or form. And again, you can stop me anytime and ask questions, interrupt, or you can with the comments. Anybody can.
Will do.
Future Fight must have at some point indicated that I had interest in Marvel Strike Force, because it's one of those things that pops up on your device. Hey, you expressed interest in this game. It's on your device. It's downloaded already for you. I'm like, okay. Clicked it. Nice turn-based strategy RPG with the Marvel theme. Liked it. It's more the speed, more the kind of game that I was looking for. And very quickly said, you know what? This is going to be my main game. Okay. So we all probably got games and other stuff on our phone. This one's going to be my main game. I was spending money on Future Fight, $20 a month. They had 2 battle passes. So I said, hey, I'm just going to go ahead, since this is going to be my main game, and roll that over into Marvel Strike Force.
Makes sense.
So, yeah, makes sense. Captain America is in the game. So we're going all the way back to the beginning. Captain America is in the game. Content creators are saying this is the best character in the game, and he was out for $5. It was a deal. You should get him. Wow. Cool. Drop $5 on Cap, and he was the best guy in the game, man. He was the strongest tank in the game. He was legit. Next character to come out, I might have the cadence wrong, but the next character to come out, I believe, was Miss Marvel. $10. I'm down with that. Boom, $10. This is okay. I can spend on this game.
I don't remember these prices. This is great to hear.
Hey, it's drilled into my brain. I might not have the numbers exactly down, but I remember I was able to stay within my budget. Third character to come out, I believe, is the Black Panther at $17. So we see the expenses rising.
Happened fast.
Yeah, I've played Marvel mobile games in the past, so I understand that the game is going to be pricing me out. Right? If it keeps going like this, I'm not going to be able to keep up with the spending, and that's fine. You got to know your limits. So I'm like, hey, I guess I just won't spend. I'll look for opportunities too, but I won't buy any more characters. So I just bought those 2. I hadn't had them powered up all the way yet. That was another indicator that I would be falling behind in the spending. So that's okay. Won't spend anymore. Since this was going to be my main game, wanted to find an alliance that was going to be active and play the game I wanted to play. So looked around, found a group called the Eternity Guardians. So they had, we'll say, 18 members at the time. Applied to the alliance, get contacted in game by Omega Red, the alliance leader. Names have been changed to protect the innocent. Omega Red says, hey, you want to be in this alliance? I'm like, yeah. Talks about their expectations. It's all in the game at this point. There's no Discord. Yep, sounds like a thing. Boom, get in there. I'm like the 19th member. And I can't remember if, so another player will say her name is Photon. Again, names have been changed. I can't remember if she was in the alliance already or she joined after. And we just had similar play style, similar strategy, would always bounce ideas off each other. Great teammate. Great teammate. So at the time in the arena, I think what was going on is there was the Defenders, the Avengers, and Guardians of the Galaxy. And it was kind of like a rock, paper, scissors type thing. The newest team that came out at the time was Shield with Nick Fury. Right about that same time, a deal pops up in the store, 1,000 energy, $10. So I'm like, hey, I got my one team done. Ask full time, what do you think? Should I go after, let's say, the Defenders? And she's like, no, that new Shield team is supposed to be really good. Go after them. So I did it. I took the advice. It was good advice. I did it. Shield team was great. Didn't appreciate it at the time, but that was the first time I was able to jump the meta, right?
Yep.
Didn't appreciate it at the time. Great team, invested early. I was able to do a lot. With it. It was good in arena. Was good in the raids. Good times. Good times. One thing that's always been a problem with Marvel Strike Force is recruiting. And so as a normal alliance, right? You hear me say before, nobody's beating down the door to get into a normal alliance.
Right.
Normal guys are a dime a dozen. So trying to fill your alliance can be challenging, can be a stretch. So Omega Red decides that we're going to merge with another alliance in an alliance cluster. This cluster is the Exiled Sons.
Okay.
So we had to cut a few members. The people that we were joining with had to cut a few members and put them in probably the next alliance down from us. So some moving and shaking, but we made it all happen. We got in. Alliance War was the big game mode at the time, and the hype was all about the rewards. These are the best rewards. Do you remember, KT, not to put you on the spot, do you remember how Alliance Wars used to be? How did we get our energy?
I think, did we start with 3 maybe, and then you'd get another one every 2 hours? How quickly I forget, but it was a lot different. You started with a little bit and then got some over time continuously to where you got the 10 total still.
Agreed. I don't remember, like you said, the exact amount, but yeah, we started with a little bit, and over time, you'd get that more over a 24-hour period, right?
Yeah.
So we had expectations, right? You have to have expectations because that's what the big alliances are doing. You have expectations and you cut people if they're not meeting up to expectations. And so 2 weeks go by, or at end of season, one of our guys isn't cutting it, so they cut him loose. It doesn't mean we're able to fill the spot, but we're doing what the big alliances do. We cut him loose. Exactly. 2 more weeks, end of season, still not happening. They cut another guy. Both of those guys were from my original alliance. Those were both Eternity Guardians guys. And so
Okay.
now the Exiled Sun Alliance has the advantage as far as they have the majority, I should say. They have the majority, as you can see where this is going.
This mean you're feeling on the chopping block here?
Not yet. Not yet.
Not yet.
Well,
Okay.
no, I was a pretty good player, but just the philosophy, you could right. The philosophy was even at first, and now it's starting to shift towards the attitude of the other alliance, which seemed to be a lot more aggressive. So I'm minding my business. I'm at work. My phone starts blowing up. Okay, people don't contact me at work, and these are Discord messages that I'm getting. Personal Discord messages. Nobody contact me personally on Discord. So open it up. Omega Red is like, yo, we're out of here. We're leaving at end of service. We're going to the Wakandan Alliance cluster. We're going to leave Exiled Sons. They had another alliance all set up for us. It was Wakandan Pink. We're going over there. Getting messages from Photon. Hey, I'm quitting the alliance. I'm like, what? What's going on?
It's your buddy.
Omega Red. Right. It's my buddy. It's my dog. It's my dog. Omega Red isn't listening. And I don't want to be a part of that. I want to play the game. I want to be hardcore. And I'm like, yeah, I get it. By that time, she started spending. So I mean, she was like, her account was a lot stronger than mine at this time. She was spending big dog money at this point. Getting messages from other people. I go into the chat, and it's like, how you get the little red dot. on your phone for Discord messages. Yeah, it's like 100.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I'm like, what?
Everything's blowing up, huh?
Everything's blown up. So you can see it. We're heading towards destruction for sure. But one of the things that they did do is I kind of took a poll to see, well, what is your play style? What was your expectations with being in this alliance? So I gotta put you on the spot one more time. I know you have no ideas. There was two alliances that merged together. So my assumption is there was two different play styles, but that is not the case. How many different play styles do you think there were?
Yeah, 2 would have been my guess, and it doesn't sound like 1, so I'm gonna say 4.
Close. No, that's a good guess. That's a good guess. There were 5 different play
Okay.
styles. And that seems to be, in reality, when we look at Marvel Strike Force as a whole, that's kind of the way it's just generally broken down. We look at the player's voice, for instance. They have, generally speaking, 5 buckets in a general sense that they put players into.
Okay.
Obviously, there's more. There's variations in that, but there's generally 5 ways people play the game.
Is
There's
that
what
like
they would.
spinning buckets you're talking about? Like the Krakens, whales, dolphins? Is that what you mean, or more play style?
Well, those spending buckets usually match up in some way, shape, or form. Not always, but usually match up with a play style, right? So if a person's I don't know what you call whatever the normal is, right? And then person's a little bit more casual, and then the person's like real casual. And then above that, a person's a hardcore player. And above that, a person is a ultra hard, I would say ultra hardcore player. And obviously those 3 right there, from the normal up to the ultra hardcore, usually have something to do with spending, either lots of time or lots of money or both.
Yeah, makes sense.
So that's what was going on, right? We didn't realize it at the time, but we had those different play styles. And some people thought it was supposed to be super hardcore, other people thought it was supposed to be super chill, and nobody was happy.
Not a
So
good mix.
not a good mix. So that's one of those things that you might hear me push back against sometimes. People say, well, the game's trying to make you have 24 people that play the game the same. Yeah, you have to do that. That's just a life lesson, right? It can't be exactly the same. But if you go out to play, like say in basketball, right? You go into the gym and you got my jersey on and his grandma and his grandpa and his mom and dad and his kids. You understand that this is more for fun than competition, right?
Right.
You
Yeah.
understand that.
Yeah.
And everybody who's playing understands that and they're going to have fun. But if you go in the gym and everybody is, between the ages of like 18 and 28, and they're like 5% body fat and they're doing windmill dunks and
Game on.
right, even though it's still a rec league, you recognize, right? Nobody's getting paid, but you recognize it's a different level that they're talking about.
Right.
And if you're in the wrong gym, it's going to be bad either way, right? So that's a thing. Yeah. So then the alliance is going to break up. It's going to fracture, go into Wakanda and Pink. But I really did want a little bit more hardcore experience. So I told Omega Red, I'm like, hey man, I think I'm gonna stay. I think I'm gonna stay. So we talked about it. He was cool. Like we talked offline, and what had happened. See, this is some of the background. What had happened was the people that got removed earlier from the alliance, they were his real life friends.
Ooh,
So
that's tough.
people, yeah, that's bad. So people talk about, well, I want to play this game with my friends, and they're just saying that because people they met online. But like these were these dudes' actual friends. They play Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes. They started playing this, and it sounds like every week they go to like this coffee shop and they game. So these were cats that he knew. And the
Yep.
last person that was supposed to get removed that he wasn't going to do that caused us the fracture was his girlfriend he was living with at the time.
Can't let that happen.
Can't let that happen. He was not going to do it. So,
That's funny.
yeah, it's one of those things. So they left, man, and I stayed. And it felt really bad, but I did want a little more aggressive experience. What ended up happening though is they took Photon and they promoted her to like, one of their like second or third top dog alliance. So it was like a super competitive top 100 alliance. So I was like, okay, well, at least I'm going to get, moved to a good spot. No, they said, you're going to stay there, be part of the new leadership. and we're going to rebuild this alliance. So there's this cat named Yavelkin, I think was his name. He was a retired player, must have been like a super whale or something, retired player. So he brought his account back in out of retirement. At a second account he brought in. I started really getting heavy into recruiting, and it's been like 15 minutes. So we've been talking. So I'll probably stop there. But yeah, we can pick it up again later, unless you want to talk about it more at some point. But that's what my initial experience was, and that was the first alliance that I was in that blew up, and it was because, again, different play style and different expectations.
Interesting. Yeah. And man, that is such a tough dynamic. Like I know the alliance I'm in now, I've been in for I think around 3 years. And like your comment about real life friends and then game friends, like it's fair. I mean, there's no question, but those lines also blur sometimes. Like I have a guy in my alliance that I've met and had a beer with when I was in Florida and knew he lived there. And so I've met him in real life. And then, a lot of these other guys, even though I haven't, I'm talking to them 10 times as much as some of my real life friends and have more in common. So those are blurry lines, and it does make those alliance dynamics so tough when consider those guys friends. I mean, a lot of them,
It's a thing. It's
it's
human.
hard.
It's human.
Yeah. But it's also, that's where you say it's a game, and I do want to play with people, played at the same level I am. So it's a delicate balance.
Agreed. So that's mine. Also, we'll pause. Unless you want to come back to it, we'll pause. And I'd like to hear what got him into this thing.
Your memory is much better than mine, so I I sure don't remember the prices and things when I started, but that was impressive. So, um, it was interesting. Similar with the game background, Gideon. Like loved RPGs growing up and board games. Like the Heroes Quest. I thought that's what you were going to say when you started saying board game heroes earlier. But then like Final Fantasy and those things. I mean, I'll tell you, as I've gotten older, I've noticed some of the Call of Duties, those games. Like I just cannot hang with a lot of the people today. So like those real time shooters, they're so complex and they're fun, but I can't perform in those games at like a top competitive level at all. So this hero collector game, turn based, was right up my alley. And I always loved Marvel movies. I wasn't a big like comic book guy, but just quickly when I started playing Marvel Strike Force, like fell in love with it and loved the graphics, loved the characters in it, loved the way combat was based. I still, and it's grown a lot, obviously, but just the dynamics of like death proof and the defense up and like how impactful the buffs and debuffs are. It's just such a fun combat system, better than any other game I'd tried. So that's kind of what got me into it. And I'd say I'd played for about 2 years casually. I was playing every day, like I was doing all my dailies. But I think I've told you this before. Like I was saving up and buying 2 red star orbs for 900 power cores. Like that's just what I did with them, and that's probably like the worst thing you could possibly do in the game with them. So I had like no clue what I was doing from a optimization standpoint. I just was having fun clicking buttons and playing the game. Was in a really casual alliance that kind of matched that. I mean, we liked winning wars, we liked trying, but it wasn't hardcore at all or a lot of pressure. And then ended up switching alliances about 2.5 years into one that was a little, again, not a lot of pressure, but just guys that try harder. And so at the same time, I started watching a lot of content creator videos. So kind of got more in the game. And I'd say that was the main trigger that flipped things for me, like seeing Mobile Gamer, seeing Casino at the time, seeing Valley Flying, like just had a blast watching those guys and really started learning how they looked at the game and like how they played this game more as a strategy game than just a straight hero collector game. And so that really appealed to me. And I started trying to mimic that and copy that and started reading the stats on the characters and just the way my head works and being analytical, that was a good fit. So that got me playing kind of at a harder level. I was free to play for about the first 3 years, and then started spending a little when I realized like this is truly my favorite hobby I have. I don't do anything else as much as I play this game, so I allowed myself to treat it like that, and start spending a little. But again, just got much more into like the analytics of the game and really trying to get as much as I could out of my characters, with the inputs I was able to give, and knowing that was limited, working full time and having a family and all those things. So So that's really what got me into it. It's still my favorite game. I know I gripe about the game, right? Like I complain about Blitz any chance I get. And there's a lot of fair gripes. Like at the end of the day, I love this game. Like it's the hobby I spend the most time on, and absolutely love it. So I'm very glad I found it 6 years ago, 5 years ago, however long it's been now.
Hey, man, it's a story that it echoes true. A lot of people feel that way, I think, man.
Yeah.
A lot of people feel that way.
Yeah, it's fun. So I'm
Agreed.
glad it was getting a little shaky there about 4 or 5 months ago, and I was nervous. I was like, "What the heck am I going to do with my time if if I don't have this game to play all the time?" But I think my wife might have been thrilled, but I was a little nervous about it. But it seems like it's turned around, and I actually feel like it's in a really good spot right now overall.
Agree. 100% agree with that. They done well, man. Like spoiler alert, as we go through the saga in the months ahead. The Young Alliance, my baby alliance, the overwhelming majority of those guys are dudes that quit the game and came back now fairly
Oh,
recently
nice.
within the past. Yeah, like so the game, and they feel good about it, you know,
We need that too. That's a good sign. Like that's how it'll sustain.
100%. 100%. Man. So we're off to a good start. We're talking about good things. We'll put a pin in it and come back.
Yeah, I'm anxious to hear then the transition on yours of how all that background leads to where you are today. So, but I know this is a series for us, so if you'd rather finish it off next time, that will be all ears.
We'll see. We'll see. We'll go with the rest of our points. And if we got some more time, I'll keep going. I just didn't want to dominate the time with just my story.
You're good, bud.
So that moves us to interesting point we were going to talk about. We're calling it disappointments. So we've all in the game, or even in just content creation in general, really right. You're doing this because you want to do it. You enjoy it. You're excited. You put your heart and soul into it. You think you got something really good that's catchy that people like, and you serve it up. And sometimes people just slap it out you, slap it out your hand. Oh, so would you like to start with this one, or you want me to go?
Appreciate the serve up there. So yeah, so as I'd messaged you, Gideon, this happened to me recently. It was a first, and try to laugh about it now, but it stung a little bit. Not gonna lie when it happened. So I had woken up Monday this week to a personal Discord message. And it was from a guy that I'd actually talked to before on like some other people's live streams, and I know he's really good at this game. And I've heard him say some things I thought were valuable opinions, and so I'd say don't know him well, but definitely had respect for this individual. Also had commented on my videos before supporting me, and so again I get this message, wake up to it first thing Monday morning, and it's about my T17.5 thing that I'd been kind of talking about on other people's videos and promoting, and basically saying like that it was bad advice, that it doesn't apply to anything he's doing right now in the game at all. And so he doesn't even understand like who my target audience was for this. And almost like, why did you even make this video?
Oh,
And so again, I'll say outside of like that being the first thing I woke up to Monday morning, like it was posed respectfully, like it wasn't trolling and just like you suck and you're horrible and you shouldn't even make videos. But it did feel kind of weird, like saying that was bad advice. That I've more been trying to just raise awareness of like that dynamic, not telling people go upgrade this immediately on everyone. So it didn't even feel like advice as much as just like, hey, I found this in awareness. But so we talked back and forth a lot. I made my points. He made some counterpoints, and we left it at agreeing to disagree. But it hurt. It stung a little bit. Like you said, we do this to help people, and not everyone's going to love everything. I know there's trolls out there, and not that that's what this was, but this first time I'd really gotten like a hate mail like that. So appreciate a chance to talk about it here. It was funny.
man, bro. Oh, that hurts, brother. Like we were talking, I thought they left you a comment, but you said no, man. He tracked you down on Discord, like, so he felt that.
Yeah.
He felt that, and then you felt that. Like that's. But I think the advice that you've been giving about that largely, I think, has been well received. You know,
I'd felt like it, and still do feel that way, no question. So got a lot of positive feedback and people saying it helped them. And again, I think it's more just a tool in the arsenal, right? Depending on where you are in the game, what your priorities are, it may be the right thing to focus on or not. But at least wanted people to know about it so they could have that as part of their decisions.
And I think your information was balanced. Like again, if anybody isn't subscribed to KT, man, you need to go do that, brother. The guy, like I keep saying, life changing experience in the game. It's good information. I think it was every time I've seen you talk about it, it's balanced. You know, you don't say, hey, you have to do this on everybody. You express that you are using some pieces that could be used for Dark Dimension. So making sure you're choosing carefully your biggest, your brightest, your best characters that you expect to have an impact. You know, you're not like, hey, I discovered this thing and I'm the only one who knows. And you know,
No, that's not really my style. So appreciate you saying that, man. That's what I've been trying to do with it, definitely. But it's part of there's a lot of joy out of doing this. The community's been amazingly supportive, and you're gonna have those hurdles. And one of the reasons I started getting into content creation was to learn. I wanted to learn more about technology. I wanted to be able to interact more with people. I wasn't working at the time, was out of a job, and so like that this is another thing to learn from, right?
100%. Life's full of lessons. Got to get them.
Yep.
Got to get them. Good. No, mine was, I think we started talking about it a little bit in private, but I never gave you the full details. So Jarvis. So when Jarvis came to the game,
Pretty
right?
recently.
So
Here.
yeah, recently.
Yeah.
Recently. And again, I'm encouraging everybody, go to the player's voice, right? I'm gonna say that regardless. You go to the player's voice, talk about things in the game. If you like something, make sure you say why you like it. Don't just say this is awesome. This is why I like it. This is where I'm in a game. This is why it's beneficial. Hey, I didn't like it. You can't just say Scopely sucks. I didn't like it. This is where I'm in a game. This is why it was detrimental to me. Right? You're probably not alone. There's other people that are in the same boat, and we need all that information to continue to help the game to get better. So Jarvis comes into the game, and I think people they start trashing it right away. They start trashing right away. I make sure I got in there because every time something happens, they have a little spot for a little message area in Discord and in the voice. So I'm like, hey, Jarvis is legit. Jarvis is legit. For the new player, for the inexperienced player, it is a game changer, right? It's giving you recommendations for teams that will work. Granted, it's not the meta. I know it's not the meta. That's why you watch KT. You want the meta, you watch KT. You watch, uh who am I thinking of? Boomer. You watch Boylan. You watch Dorky Dad. If you want the ultimate cutting edge meta. But if you're just a regular dude who's trying to find a spot or find 5 characters that will get it done, Jarvis is good for that.
I agree.
Jarvis is good for that.
I completely agree.
And I thought so too. But I got crushed. They were crushing me in there, bro. I mean, it got bad. It got bad, man. It was these 2 dudes that just wouldn't let it go, man. They were
In
just
the
calling
players'
names.
voice,
Yeah. I mean,
like
they're not
that guy?
representatives. They're just people that are in the right. It's not like F Dog is like jumping on my back. That's not what was happening.
Right.
It's just other players that were in that particular section talking about it, and they were just on me. They were just on me. I'm like, I was getting upset, not so much that partly, you say ego a little bit. You're getting upset because somebody's disagreeing with you, but the energy that they had, that's why I'm always trying to pub the voice. And there's people, right? They probably mean well, but they've been, I don't want to say brainwashed by, whatever someone else said. They're not playing the game from different perspectives. They're ultra end game players. And so they don't have any need of Jarvis.
Right.
So to them, it's stupid.
And
Which
they're looking at the fine details. They're not painting with a broad brush, but a lot of people are.
Yeah. Yeah. So it went on for a couple of days. It went on for a couple of days, and finally F Dog and Beta Ray Bill both kind of just like, well, this is what it is.
Guys.
Yeah, this is what it is. We're gonna close it here. Thanks everybody for their feedback. But
For their passion.
yeah, and your passion. But it hurt in the sense that this is why Gideon's here, because there's people, again, they mean well. It's not that they're being malicious. They mean well, but there are people that don't understand that the game's been out now for 6 years. There is a variety of play styles, right? You just take those 5 we talked about earlier and you stretch them out now over a 5-year period.
Yeah.
There are huge gaps in what people can do and what people need. And the advice, isn't the same across the board. So I don't know if I'm making clear, but the disappointing part was the energy that they were pushing back with. And I was just like, man, there's cats out here that just really don't get it.
Was it almost like making it feel personal and you're stupid versus
Oh,
just like,
100%.
hey, we don't agree type thing?
Yes, 100%. You're an idiot.
Yeah. Feels like that's how the world works these days a lot,
Yeah.
unfortunately. But
Yeah.
yeah, that's people have different viewpoints, right? It's whether it's a game strategy, whether it's politics, whether it's a million things. You're biased by what you grew up with, the way that you look at things, and it doesn't mean everyone's always wrong, just because they don't agree with you. So
No, I appreciate that. I agree with that 100%. That's one of the things that I'm trying to get my children they're older now, they're grown. And that's what one of the points I'm trying to pass on to them is when you're young, you see things a lot of times in black or white, right and wrong. But as you get older, you see not that there's necessarily a gray area, but it's just like there's more than one way to do something. And just because the way you learned it, that doesn't mean that that's the right way or the best way. It is a way and it's successful, but there's a vast variety of experiences and they may apply differently in different cases.
yeah. And hate to hear again that we should all respect each other. And hate to hear that's how your situation turned. But I think you've been a strong voice there in the MSFPV, especially in that newer player experience part of it. So kudos for that.
We're trying, man. I got to be more active there. I got been busy. I got to be more more active, man. Do you want to go on to the third point?
Let's do it. And one quick thing, if you don't mind, this is a complete tangent, but you were talking about Jarvis. One other thing they brought to the game that I recently found, even though it's been out for quite a while, but that DD6 planner. So I'm not great at tech, and for some reason I was like, oh, I can plan on my own. I can make these guys on my verse battle favorites so I can access them quickly and figure it out. I don't need to worry about that. It kind of intimidated me for some stupid reason, but I finally checked it out. And it is so easy to use, and the way that they have it organized is just like invaluable. You can quickly see for global what are, for each origin and type of piece, like what characters use 2 of it, what characters use 3 of it. And just made like making those decisions 20 times easier. So it kind of similar to Jarvis. I mean, maybe it doesn't apply to everyone, but if people haven't checked that out, I'd recommend it because it was a lot more helpful than what I was expecting.
No, I need to take advantage of it myself. I have not. I was thinking the same. Oh, I got it covered, but a lot of people are using it. It's because it's made by guys who play the game, right? So
Yeah.
like Ty J and Toxium, they play the game.
Yeah.
So
It's good. I was impressed.
100%. I have to give it a look. I have to give it a look because I'm gonna need some cheap guys.
That's right.
All right. So the kind of like you were alluding to before we caught on is that the game is changing fast, man. The game's changing fast. There's a lot happening in the game. New teams coming out, and then dark promotion credits.
Yeah.
So any advice on or any thoughts on how you're going to spend your dark promotion credits?
So I do. And I'm actually, I think this is what I'm going to do my next video on and get into the deep dive. But for, kind of thinking through this, and I may be wrong on this, I'm still learning, but I don't really feel like Nova and Black Cat are going to get the same value with the extra red stars that what like Morgan at the time did or Red Hawk at the time did. And again, I may be wrong on that, but like Black Cat is so amazingly powerful and she gets all that extra speed and she's got amazing abilities, but she doesn't have like that big change the match AoE where, you just really want to get that character as many red stars as you can. So red stars on Black Cat's phenomenal. Don't get me wrong, but I'm starting to feel like I'm going to save at this point, and save specifically probably for Zombie Juggernaut. I'm really excited for him. I think that team is going to be a menace. And I don't know if we'll get any for him for free. We might have to buy them all like Zombie Iron Man. So I still have 0 on him. But he survives without him. He does his mind control tricks without him. Whereas I think Zombie Juggernaut's really going to need them, and he's going to be crazy powerful when he's big. So right now, that's my plans. I'm actually going to keep Black Cat and Nova at 5. I do have Quicksilver at 6, which I've loved, but I've had it for a little while, so still not sure if I'd do that today, knowing Zombie Juggernaut's coming out. But I think I'm going to save and focus on him. Early plans, though, not fully sure yet.
Hey,
And would love to hear your opinions on it, and you might change my mind if you disagree here.
no, I always value your insight, man. You made me think. You made me think. So again, when you said no Black Cat, I was like, oh, it kind of hurt. I was like, oh, because I
And I
think
took her to 5. Don't get me wrong. Like I think that 5th is well worth it. It's so cheap. But all right, go ahead.
no, I mean you got a big Black Cat though too from doing very well in the trial. So Zombie Juggernaut, right? Supernatural dude. For Gideon, he's probably just gonna sit there. He's probably gonna be off the table. So for me, it helps make my decision because I'm probably not gonna mess with him.
That's
But
fair.
but where I'm making the most impact right now is Arena. And so I was thinking until something else changes, the two that I'm kind of uh just saving for is Black Cat and Quicksilver. Because right now that's my team. Quicksilver is so it's a 3 secret defenders, no Robbie, no Strange, Apocalypse, Quicksilver is my squad. So if I can keep it's an arms race, right? If I can keep my guys beefy enough, I can stay where I'm at longer, get more cores is my thinking, and keep making that progress towards the Super Scroll. But so that's just what I'm thinking right now. I don't know. So Nova, I'm not going to put any more investment in. I don't even know where I have him if he's at 4 or 5. And then I'm trying to think who else takes dark promotion credits. I guess if I can't think about it, it must not be important. But
Spider-Man Big Time, Zombie Iron Man. And I think a huge one we haven't mentioned because it's not here yet, but Apocalypse. At some point, those are going to come out in the store, and that'll be a hot one, right? That'll be one people want.
I didn't even think about that. You're 100% spot on.
But I'll tell you, I think with Quicksilver, I'm obsessed with the guy right now and have been. I just love him. But that 6 red star for anyone on paper, it's a 10% increase. That's what it reads. But if you look at the stat increase, it's actually closer to around 6 to 7% for the effective stat increase, and it's a function of because it's not a flat 10% increase. It's because you're going from 50 to 60%, which again sounds like 10%, but in reality it ends up being a little lower. So it's not a huge stat increase. But what's interesting, Scopely like fine tunes all these healths and damage so tightly and where they want it that even though that's not a ton more, I have noticed it being really impactful on Quicksilver. Like I feel like he's maybe just finishing off like Miss Marvel with that last hit in Arena, whereas if I didn't have that 6th, he wouldn't have. So even though it maybe doesn't seem like that big of an upgrade, I do think it's worth it on him. I feel I've gotten a lot of value from that one.
It gives me hope. That gives me hope because that is something that I'm noticing. I haven't paid 100% attention, but like there's times where pretty quickly I know how the match is going to go. Like if he can drill through that Miss Marvel with the quickness, then it's going to go really good for me. If he can't finish her off and I have to use Apocalypse to finish her off, then that just puts me behind. And I'm not always paying attention, but in where I'm at in the arena right now, that spread of power, I don't even know how to explain what I'm saying. That spread of power plays a role, right? So that's a not necessarily a win or loss condition, but that helps to dictate the match. And then how beefy are the other characters? How long does it take me to? Because that's all it is who can last the longest.
Exactly.
Everybody's just doing this. Everybody's just doing damage.
Yep.
Just who's going to fall out first, and then who does? If you're Miss Marvel isn't there to absorb that Apocalypse hit, then he's going to erase somebody else. You're going to lose one of your other teammates, and you probably need one of them to keep going.
So one interesting thing here in the last video I did, I was doing the top sexiest abilities in Marvel Strike Force, and kind of a fun video, but I feel it's really valuable to read characters' kits every once in a while. It's so hard to memorize them. Like it used to be a lot easier, you'd have one line maybe, but with 30 lines now, you can't memorize it. But Zombie Iron Man's kit and his passive had two things I'd forgotten about. I want to see if these ring any bells for you. The first one, if he's over 50% health, anyone on his team cannot be stunned in war offense only. Both these are war offense only, but no one on his team can be stunned. The second one, if he's over 50% health, no one on the opposing team can get a death proof. Who does that call out to specifically, if you think about it? Even though this character was out well before this new one I'm talking about.
Does that cause problems for Black Cat?
I would think so, and I haven't seen it. Like maybe if she starts with Safeguard, I forget the exact sequencing. Maybe it won't allow it to happen. But yeah, Black Cat is very dependent on a turn 1 stun and on having 8 death proofs. And how crazy that Zombie Iron Man's passive might be a hard counter to that.
Man, you might have broke something here.
Just in war. Again, that only applies in war, but it stood out. I wanted to bring that up while we were talking about Zombie Iron Man and Black Cat here.
No, like you said, well, yeah, war's outside of her game mode, but yeah, they're strong. They're showing up in war. They're showing up in Crucible.
Oh, they're
those
great
doesn't apply
everywhere
there, but like, no, and I mean, that's the thing. Trying to blend in these two ideas together. When we talk about like the new teams and stuff, like that's the thing. So today it should be coming out at some point. I was able to beat, I gotta think about who this was. I was able to beat Darkhold on my baby account, straight Darkhold with the 3 secret defenders. And I think I used like Weaver in 2099. And I mean, they won decisively. Decisively. It's a
They're
punch up.
amazing.
It's a punch, like I'm just in my small account. So like it was a punch up, and Darkhold is strong.
Yep.
Oh, they were able to get through that. I've been using who else? The new Avengers. I've been using the new Avengers on the young account to beat Heroes for Hire because I don't have a team that can give an early trauma, which is necessary. But those cats,
It is.
They got people that can do that.
Yeah, they are amazing. I mean, I think, your Darkhold example is interesting. Like, I know we talked about it before when we were talking about is the arena team normally the new meta, but they're Darkhold 2.0, right? It was like the Black Order, then Infinity Watch, then Darkhold, and then now Secret Defenders. I mean, I think they're the team that if you haven't already, you stop and you max them out or build them as big as you want to ASAP, because just so valuable all over the place in the game, every game mode. There's no question.
100%. 100%. I wish I should have I didn't want to embarrass the guy. I saw a Discord message. It was in one of the other new guy areas in one of the servers, and somebody was telling them not to build them. And I'm like, bro, like this is a game changing. Talk about catch up mechanics. Like the newer teams are so strong. Once you have enough of them, I mean, they're just pushing you forward.
Yeah.
They're just pushing you forward.
You said it earlier, you hear people use that term jumping the meta all the time. Like this is one of those opportunities. You don't get it every month, not every patch. You got to be careful. You can't try and jump the meta by doing a new raid team. Like you'll do great on that one node in the lane, but this is a jump the meta team. There's no question. And your videos on this for your newer account and arena, I think have really demonstrated that, to your point.
It's good times. It's good times. So
Because you moved up from like 60 to the top 10 just like instantly, didn't you, when you got them together?
Yeah, I think I got up to 12. Is my best.
Okay.
And I was stuck, right? I was stuck in the 50s. I couldn't get paid. Anybody that had Emma, because I didn't have Emma, I lost. So I was hard stopped at about the 50s. And now the only thing that can stop them is an Apocalypse, which are there's a few of those, or a stronger Secret Defender team.
Yep.
So I can equal some of that. I can't do anything about, but that part, some of that I can equalize. Obviously, the Apocalypse can't do anything about. But like we said, it's an arms race. And even on my main account, bro, I was inside. I saw. Do you see that? I was inside the top 3.
Yeah,
that hasn't happened forever.
That's awesome.
Ever. I'm looking at somebody's got a super scroll. I couldn't do anything about that.
Problem.
But
yep.
I was inside on my main account, inside the top 3.
Hell yeah.
Like ridiculous.
That's some nice extra promo credits. There's no question. But yeah,
That's
they're
cool.
fun, and I think they're going to be that way for a while. It's not going to change the next two patches. I mean, Scroll might, he'll impact it, but I still think you'll be using like the core three at a minimum on that team for months.
Agreed. I concur. Man. Is there anything else you want to talk about this evening?
Real quick, where are your new Avengers, if you don't mind? I think the other new team before Pegasus comes here, which is a
Man.
no-brainer, obviously, with the raids. But where are you at with the new Avengers? There's a lot of conflicting opinions out there, I think.
Oh, what are my thoughts?
Yeah, your thoughts and your team.
It's going to
We'll
take a
see if
minute
you
for the
put your
phone to
money
boot
where
up.
your mouth is here.
It's going to take a minute for the phone to boot up. I don't even know if I can get the interface.
Well, if you don't remember off the top of your head, it's okay.
Well, just
ballpark.
I'm not as awesome at the strategy as these two don't even match. I'm not as down with the strategy as you are. I need to be better at the numbers and whatnot. So right now I'm just bringing. So then we're talking about the new Avengers.
Yeah.
I believe I'm bringing them all to 17. And it's still probably 95 because I'm just on autopilot like that, just 95, 17.
Wow.
And again, this is not due to logic.
That's a lot of investment.
This is not due to any secret process. This is just what I do. Yeah. I build the guys as strong as I can until the next team comes out, and whatever they were at, that's where they're at. And I should probably be a little bit more thoughtful in how I proceed. But
I mean, Gideon, if you can bring all the new characters to level 95 T17, you keep doing that, bud. And then you need to be putting out videos on how you're doing that. So that's I can't argue with it. That's a lot of investment, but that's a great place to be. I cannot not afford that level, unfortunately, but might be able to get them there here at some point. We'll see.
So it looks like for the most part, there's 16. I wonder if I could probably take a picture and put it on Discord. I don't know. You probably can't see it.
Yeah, there's a little glare there, but I see the 16. It looked like that single green ring.
So we got Thing, Coulson, Ronin, 16, Mockingbird's at 17. So that was just probably an autopilot move. And we don't have Tiger yet.
You're sitting well, man. Good for you. That'll treat you well in that next trial, right? They're the key team for that, so that'll be nice to have.
I'm hoping it'll be okay to maybe do okay for once. We'll see how much wizardry is needed to to get through. But those guys are pretty much just a straight skill squad. So hopefully I can score decent, and maybe we'll see what this next legendary is all about.
And hey, if you want to get a little head start and practice, you can take some rounds in the evening and banging your head against the wall, and then you'll kind of get conditioned for what it's going to be like trying to push for a high score.
Just straight headbutting, huh?
I absolutely love the trials. It's probably my favorite game mode, but yeah, doing some of those nodes 30 times again, I enjoy it, but it's similar to banging your head against the wall.
Things like that, even like you said, even stuff that you like at high reps can get tedious.
You got it. But that was my last question for tonight, bud, and appreciate this conversation.
100%, man. Appreciate you, and thanks everybody who came on out. So obviously, GideonXL, you're looking at it right now live on YouTube. But once again, KT, where can they find you?
Yep, thank you. So you guys can find me exclusively pretty much on YouTube at youtube.com/Gangster KT. Boom. So come check me out, guys. Leave me comments. I enjoy interacting with the community, and wanted to give a final shout out to Adam again here, who messaged us at the beginning. Glad he was able to join us, and I've seen a couple other people on. So thanks for joining us.
Thanks everybody for joining. Hope you guys are having a good evening. We'll pop Adam's message back up because he's the man. Very inspiring.
You get to see him flex again. That's right. Always a
pleasure. Always flexing, man. But yeah, you guys take it easy. Take care of yourselves, and we'll try to catch you in about 2 weeks. We're gonna try to do another collaboration episode. We'll see who we can get on. We got some ideas lined up. We got some people that confirmed. So we'll see how it goes. So hopefully we'll see you then.
All right. Thanks, guys. See you.